So as most of you guys have probably seen by now, we have been getting a ton of Spider-Man Brand New Day set photo leaks. Again, these leaks have really been coming out and we've been getting a lot of new ones every single day. And the reason we've been getting so many set photo leaks is because they actually started filming in Glasgow as of late. Again, I believe they're actually a week into filming right now and as we speak. And again, the reason they're kind of filming there, which sparked a lot of confusion, is because it's actually being used as New York City. Again, turns out it's actually a lot cheaper to go and film in Glasgow than it actually is to film in New York City. So while people were kind of speculating that this movie would take place outside of New York, because of that, it just turns out that no, they're just using Glasgow as like the set location for New York. Again, we've been seeing a ton of videos, particularly of Spider-Man and of course him swinging around. They're going really practical with the swinging. Again, Destin Daniel Cretton choosing not to take John Watts' advice, the previous director of the film, who really liked to use CGI, swinging. Again, I think he used like 100% CGI swinging for No Way Home. Again, he told Destin Daniel Cretton that was his advice, to mainly go CGI. But again, it looks like for what we're seeing right now, again, the new director, Destin Daniel Cretton, is really not taking that advice. He's doing some practical stuff, and I absolutely love this. Again, you not only see him swinging around New York City, but you see him trying to chase after a tank. Now, it's really unsure and unclear what this tank is actually for and what purpose it serves. Again, if you actually look on the side, you can see there appears to be a demon logo on this tank. So because there seems to be a demon logo on this tank, I think everyone and their dad has been theorizing that this will actually be Martin Li, Mr. Negative's demons. But again, we recently just got a report which kind of changes all of that, with a lot of inside scoopers, of course the main one being the Comic Circus, saying that Mr. Negative will not appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day, obviously meaning that his demons will not appear. Again, this is a really weird situation, considering Mr. Negative is one of the main villains of Spider-Man Brand New Day comic series, and he's the villain that everyone wanted to see for this film, and now we're hearing that he might not be, potentially in it. So what does this demon on the tank actually mean? Again, it is being said by leakers as well that this tank is being driven by Jon Bernthal's Punisher. Again, we know the Punisher is confirmed to be in this film in some capacity. Again, other leaks saying that he and Spider-Man will originally fight, and then they'll actually team up to take down the Hulk. Again, that could be what he's doing in this tank. He could, of course, be using it to try and take down the Hulk. There's also been a lot of instances in these set videos that show cars actually being pulled up in the air. Again, this could be because they're going to put the Hulk in later in CGI, and the Hulk could actually be going ahead and hitting these cars. Again, that seems to be like the main theory and seems to be the main report by leakers on what is actually happening here. But again, in my opinion, very, very disappointing news that Mr. Negative will most likely not be in this film and will not be the main villain of this film. Again, I still hold high hopes that maybe Martin Li is in this film in some capacity and we don't see him or get a reveal of him as Mr. Negative yet. Again, that is what I'm still holding high hopes for, because I just feel like you can't make this movie without Martin Li having some kind of impact. Again, we've been seeing a ton of other set photos as well of Tom Holland as Spider-Man just around New York City. Again, a lot of set photos of him in the new suit that we got revealed at the end of No Way Home. Of course, the final swing suit, as they are, pretty much calling it. Again, pictures of him in the suit with his mask on, without his mask on, all of the above. Again, even pictures of him looking like he's just aura farming, like standing on top of the tank in front of a crowd of thousands of people. Again, I actually think that is really exciting. It's really cool. The suit looks absolutely fantastic, and I think the leaks have really done it justice. And I mean, Sony seem to be pretty happy with these leaks. They seem to be pretty happy with everyone talking about this film, giving it a lot of public exposure, because look, that really worked for the last film and made No Way Home one of the most successful films in the history of movies. And I think they're really hoping and anticipating that Brand New Day will be the same thing. So again, we got a lot of that. Also, a report here saying that Brand New Day will actually have a darker tone similar to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. According to insider Daniel RPK, Spider-Man Brand New Day will reportedly be much darker than Tom Holland's previous trilogy. It will somewhat be similar to The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or the Kraven Last Hunt storyline from the comics. Again, interesting that said, because I've spoken about this on the channel, but I think the first half of No Way Home, in my opinion, is an okay film. Like, I really don't like it, you know, compared to what the second half is. But the second half of the film is a great Spider-Man story, and to me was pretty dark. I think the second half of No Way Home is pretty dark. I mean, Peter basically loses everything. He watches his aunt die. Everyone in the world forgets who he is. Like, a lot of shit goes on, and I thought that was pretty dark. But now we're hearing that the film is going to be even darker, and I mean, I love that. I think, obviously, the best Spider-Man movie of all time, Spider-Man 2, is a very dark, emotional story about Peter's mental health and his well-being and realization that he might not want to be Spider-Man anymore. I think this is going to be the opposite, and this is going to be Peter, you know, his mental health affecting him to the point where all he wants to be is Spider-Man. I think that's what is going to happen, because no one knows who Peter is anymore, but everyone still knows Spider-Man, and again, it will take his mind off things, and I think that's just how the overall direction of the film is going to go. Being compared to Amazing Spider-Man 2, though, is a little bit confusing, considering the first 3/4 of, you know, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 are pretty bright. In fact, they're much more brighter than the first, you know, movie. But it's the last quarter of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 where everything gets really dark, as we know. So I wonder if this report is kind of referring to the last quarter of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is arguably the darkest we've ever seen it be. So, could this be an MJ death? Could something like that happen? I'm not too sure. Again, in saying and talking about MJ, it is also being reported that Zendaya will have a major role in Spider-Man Brand New Day, but with less screen time. According to insider Daniel RPK, Zendaya's MJ will reportedly play a significant role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. However, her screen time, alongside with Jacob Batalon's Ned Leeds, will be limited as they become supporting characters. Again, what this means by major role, in my opinion, is, of course, I think the narrative of MJ altogether will be a major point of this film. Again, Daniel RPK also mentioned way less screen time. So what I think the point of this film, again, is going to be is obviously him, you know, missing MJ, him kind of realizing, like he did in the last one, that they're just better off without him, and him going through the struggles of that. So again, a lot of the things he does, him preferring to probably be Spider-Man instead of Peter Parker, goes back to the root of just him not having his girlfriend and not having his best friend anymore. So I think, you know, Ned and Zendaya will really not have much screen time at all, but they're like, how do you even say this? Like, their footprint, their footmark is going to be like what drives a lot of what Peter does and how his mental health is in the film. Again, we also recently just got some set photos of Tom Holland at, of course, you know, the gravesite of Aunt May. Again, Zendaya was actually there, and a lot of people were saying, oh, is Zendaya's MJ going to meet him there? I don't think that's going to happen. You can actually see in a lot of the set photos, she's wearing her engagement ring, which makes me think she's not even in character. There's nothing like that going on. I think she's just there to support Tom Holland, considering they might be filming 1 or 2 scenes in Glasgow together. So the point of her just being there is probably just to support her fiance. So I think that's what is going on there, and how that has come to be. I don't think MJ is really going to be in that scene, but if she is, I mean, it would be cool if she visited Aunt May's gravesite to remember the person she was, and then of course sees Peter there, and I guess just starts talking to him, and he's just like, you know, there, and she's wondering, well, how did you know her? So that could be how that scene, of course, does go if they do that. But I don't think that's how it's happening. I think Zendaya was just there to support Tom Holland. So again, I'm very interested to hear a lot of your thoughts and opinions on the recent Spider-Man Brand New Day leaks. Are you guys excited for the film, or are you not? Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my my sports channel, which will be linked down below. My gaming/movie channel, which is this one. Go and check out my Instagram, which will also be getting linked down below. But yeah, as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.